Hey guys, welcome to another BIM Everyday tutorial. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a parametric window family. So the first thing we want to do is go to New, hover over the arrow, and then go to Family. From the list here, just scroll down to Window, and you want the one that just says Window. You don't want the one with trim. We're going for more of a modern look, so we're going to keep it plain and simple. Hit Open. So if you go to the 3D view by clicking on the house here, and let's just change it to shaded, what you're presented with is just a wall with an opening already in it. So if I hover over here, you'll see this opening cut, and that's what every window family gives you. So to start off, let's go to the exterior view. Again, here you have, let me just change the scale here to make the text a little smaller. So you have two parameters here. One is a default sill height. So if I click on that and then click again, I can change the height of that. And that's 2. Put it back to, I can make it 2'6". And then the height here is also a parameter. So if I click on it and then click it again, I can make this window taller, or I can make it shorter. But I'll put it back to 6. Then if you go to the plan view, and I'll just change the scale again, you can see here I have the width of 3 feet. So again, if I select that and then click it again, type in 5, you can see this opening is bigger. Also, if I go to the 3D view again, the opening is bigger. The other way to change the parameters is if you go to this Families Type button over here, click that, and you can see all of the parameters that are within this family. So up here you have the dimensions, height, and width, and if you scroll down a bit, under Other is default sill height. So let's make a window. Go back to the exterior view, and what's really happening with these parameters is that these dimensions, or these reference lines, are dimensioned with this dimension here, and it's given a parameter. So what we want to do is anything we draw, we want to snap to these reference lines, the horizontal ones and the vertical ones. So if I go over here to Create, Extrusion, first thing you want to do is under Work Plane here, click on Set, and make sure it's on the reference plane that you want. So for our instance, we're going to use reference plane center. That way, no matter how thick the wall is or how thin it is, the window will always be placed in the center of the wall. So click OK. Then what you want to do is use the rectangle tool and just go from this corner of the opening to this corner. Then without hitting escape, keep the rectangle tool selected and then change the offset to let's say whatever you want, but we'll go 4 inches. Then click on the same corner here, and if you notice it's offsetting outside, so just press space and it'll offset to the inside. Then click here to finish it. So let's hit the green check, and if I change the height, you could see that this mullion, let's say, is going along for the ride. The reason why that is, if I go back here and go to Edit Extrusion, and then go to View and turn on the Visibility Graphics, under Annotations, there's this Automatic Sketch Dimensions. So what's happening here is that Revit is making a lot of assumptions for you. So since you drew these lines right on this reference plane, it's giving it a dimension of 0 here, 0 up here, 0 here, and 0 here. It's assuming that you want to always be on this reference line. Then, since we offset 4 inches with another rectangle, it's assuming that you want this to be 4 inches off of this reference plane. So if you're in a rush, you can just leave it and you'll probably be okay. But just to be sure, let's lock in these dimensions. So the first thing you want to do is go back to the Modify tab, click on the Align tool, click the reference plane first, and then click the sketch line. And once you do that, you'll see this padlock come up. Just click it, and now it's locked to that reference plane. And just repeat that 4 times. Click the reference plane, sketch line, lock. Reference plane, sketch line, lock, and lock. Then what you want to do is just dimension from here to the reference plane. So use your align dimension, which is usually a quick shortcut here, or you can go to annotate, aligned, click on the reference plane, then the sketch line, click anywhere in the white space, so to finish it, and then click the padlock. And repeat that 4 times, or repeat it 3 times. Reference plane, sketch, click in the white space, and then lock. Like that. And last one. And being that there's still a temporary dimension here, it's letting me know that I missed this one. So I'm going to go back to the modify tab, click align, click the reference plane, click that sketch line, and then lock. And now there's no automatic sketch dimensions here. So again, if I go to visibility graphics, you almost want to keep this on so that you always know what you have and have not locked, because you might run into errors later on when the family becomes more complicated. So just click OK, go back to modify, and finish the sketch. So if I go back to the 3D view, you can see here that this extrusion is all over the place. So select it again, and you have 2 options to change this. You can either just change it right here in the properties panel without going back into the extrusion, or if you click on edit extrusion, it's still here. So we want our overall width to be 4 inches. So we want it to end at 2 inches and start at -2 inches. And let me just change the scale here again. So what that did, once you'll notice when I finish it, it's exactly 4 inches from the center of the wall. And you can check that in plan. If I press tab, select this line, you can see that this is the center front back reference plane. And when I select the extrusion, it's showing here that's the reference plane that it's based off of, and it's going 2 inches away and 2 inches back. And you want to do this so that when you have different wall types, so let's say this wall is default to 6 inches. If I click edit type, click edit again, and I make it 8 inches, you can see the wall got bigger, but the window stayed the same, and it's exactly in the center. So next, what you want to do is make a piece of glass. So let's go to the exterior view, go to create extrusion, and then again you want to click the rectangle tool, no offset this time, and just pick the frame that you already drew from this corner to that corner and hit escape. So you can see that the same dimensions are here again. So if you use the align dimension tool, click the reference plane, and you want to be careful here, since that there's the sketch line and then the window frame that we drew before, it's most likely going to default to the other extrusion. So press tab until the line is thick, and then click it, and then you can lock it. So again, click the reference plane, and you can see how it's not really that bright, and it's, if you look in the bottom here, when I hover over here, you can see it's saying extrusion shape handle, and if I press tab, now it's saying line reference, and that's what you want. You want the sketch line. Otherwise, if I just click here, you can see it's grayed out, meaning I can't even do anything with this. Now I'm stuck with it. So if I try that again, go to aligned, click here, and then press tab, click away, and lock it. And I have one more. Okay. The other way that we could have done this is, let me just delete this real quick. And I go to pick lines, and I click lock here, hover over one of these lines, and then press tab until they all highlight, and then click. Now the sketch lines are locked to the face of the frame. Either way works great. This way that I just showed you now is best if you're in a rush because it's a lot quicker. But the first way is a lot safer because each line is always based off of this line. Maybe later on you might make this thinner, or you adjust it, or you delete a line in the extrusion. You're going to lose this relationship. However, if you dimension, if I delete this, draw a rectangle again, if you always dimension to the reference line or to a reference line, you have less of a chance of failure. So just dimension these real quick again. Lock it, reference line, lock it. I think that's it. Just make sure these are all locked, locked, locked. Okay, click the check, and I can just delete this dimension here. So if I go to 3D view again, you can see that this extrusion is crazy. So just change the distances here. So if, let's say I want a 1/2 inch thick piece of glass, I'll type in 1/4 inch at the end and minus 1/4 inch for the start. So now for some materials. What you want to do is select the inner piece, which is the glass, and for the subcategory where it says none, click in there. You'll get this arrow, and then just change this to glass. And then what happened was it changed the line weight and the line type of this object, and it also gave it a glass material. And the reason why it did that is if I go to manage, object styles, here you can see under the Windows category where glass is, Revit defaults to giving anything that has a subcategory of glass a glass material. So if I hit OK, and I select this one, I change this subcategory to frame, hit OK, and you can see now it has a weird green line, which is fine because if I go to manage and then object styles, I can change what the frame subcategory will look like. So if I go to line color, just make this black, and the glass, I'll make this black too. And you know that you want your frames. Let's say I want this frame to be 2 inches or line weight of 2. I'll just select here and make this 2. And hit OK. So we can just test the parameters. If I go to modify, family types, and here move this over for the height. Let's make this 7. Hit apply. You can see the top grows and the width. Make that 4, hit apply, and you can see it shrinks. So normally what you also want to do, so you don't have to change this every time, is you can add a family type, because up here the name is blank. So if I click new family, and instead of type 1, let's call it the size of what it is. So it's 4 feet by 7 feet. Hit OK. And I can make a new type too. So if I want it to be 5 feet by 8 feet, I'll just call it that and then hit OK. You can see this changed, and then all I have to do is change the height to 8 feet and the width to 5 feet. And there you have it. And if I go back to that same dialog box, the family types, I can switch at any time between the two. Now I'm going to load this into a project. So I'll hit load into project here, and I just happen to have a blank project 1 file open, and it wants me to place a window, but I don't have any walls, so I'm just going to hit escape, go to wall here, draw a wall out, go back up here to window, and you can see I have my family 1. Normally you want to give it a good name other than just family, and you can see I have the 2 sizes. So when I place it, I click, you can see now place that window in and even cut the wall. If I want to change it to the other one, I'll just click the 5 foot by 8 foot and click here. So I'm going to just change this to a 1/4 inch scale and zoom back in. And you can see here that this glass, if I go to thin lines, you can see the 2 pieces of glass, but if I turn it back on, it looks terrible. The reason for that is if I go to Manage and then Object Styles, I scroll all the way down to Windows, and I open this up, you can see since we made the glass object here an actual subcategory of glass, you can see the default cut weight for glass is a thickness of 4. So let's just change that to 2 and hit apply, and you can see it got a little thinner. Maybe let's make it 1. So now it's finally readable. Also the frame and mullion here, maybe this is too thick, so you can change this to 2, and there you go. Also, whenever you place a window in, the sill height here is 2'6". You can always change it after the fact. So let's go to the 3D view and let's just make it shaded. If I select any of these windows here, sill height, I can make it 2 foot. You can see it drops down. You can make this one 2 feet and it drops down. If you know that you always want your window sill height to be a certain dimension, you can always go back to the family. So I'll just click Edit Family here, open up the parameters again, and then just change this default sill height to 2 feet and hit apply. And the difference between this parameter and these 2 parameters is that this is a type parameter, meaning it'll change whenever you change this, and this is an instance parameter where the default number will change. However, when I load it back in and I go back to a plan view and I go back to window and I place the window here, this is an instance where I can change it even though the type is still the same. So go back to the 3D view. I select both of these windows. You can see they're both the family one 5 foot by 8 foot. But if I just select one of them and give this a sill height of 4 feet, this one is unaffected. Similarly to this one, if I just copy it over, I can make this 4 feet and it doesn't affect this window. So I hope this helped you guys, and if this helped you in any way, be sure to like it, and if you want to get more great videos from BIM Every Day, make sure you subscribe. Thanks.